Welcome to the Landlady Listens. The podcast where we talk all things real estate, development, and the mindset it takes to build your dream life.
Okay, hey guys. Hey guys, it's Landlady.
I'm your host, Meg Hayden, real estate broker, new construction expert, and a believer in making big visions into a reality. So if you're ready to build it, dream it, and live it, let's dive in. Hey guys, it's Meg Hayden, your favorite real estate broker and host of the Landlady Listens. I'm super excited for today's guest. I've actually never met him in person, only over the phone, talking about a huge development, but I'm so grateful to have him here. He has a ton of experience building, and without further ado, introduce yourself. Hola, Coco.
Hola. Yeah, my name is Concepcion. That's my first name, but everybody knows me as Coco.
Are you like Latino?
I am. I am half Puerto Rican.
All right.
And Italian.
Okay.
So meatballs and rice.
That's me.
Yeah. Are
you?
you?
I'm half Peruvian, half potatoes, Irish.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, everybody thinks I'm Irish because I've got a red beard, so they think I'm Irish. So, but I'm happy to be here. Looking forward to, and likewise, nice meeting you in person, finally. We talked on the phone and you're a hustler, and we were talking about a development which looks like it, the guy ended up keeping it. I'm excited to be here and get it going.
Yeah. So I have developers come on the show because I think it's really important for people to learn about development and building. And so I wanted to hear a little bit about, like, how did you get into this space?
Getting into the space, well, I bought my first rental property when I was 23. And from there, it just kind of escalated into owning more rental property, learning how to do construction. You're grinding as a young guy. And then ultimately, we found that new construction has the opportunity to make more money, especially in today's climate. So we got into some new construction and haven't looked back ever since.
So you're mostly doing new construction builds then?
Mostly doing new construction, yeah. We still have a rental portfolio, but everything is primarily new construction from the ground up.
So tell us a little bit about like how you run your operation. Is it new construction? Are you GCing projects? What does your business really look like?
Depending on the project. So I am a registered GC, and I do GC my own projects. I also have partnerships with other projects where somebody else GCs it, and I'm really just standing back and helping with the approval and planning side of things. Mm-hmm. Depends on the project, what exactly my role is going to be, but I'm pretty much hands in everything when it comes to the project.
So what is your favorite space to be in? Because we were just talking with my broker about how difficult it can be working with the towns to get approvals through. But where's your sweet spot?
I like single family new construction. Mm-hmm. I think the larger projects, like you just said, are just very complicated, and a lot of the towns just don't understand it. You have some cities and municipalities that have planners and town solicitors who are lawyers, but
What's a town solicitor?
They're like the attorney for the town, so they represent the town. You talk to them, they generally
don't. Not soliciting anything other than problems.
Yeah. Soliciting problems and racking up the bill for the city taxpayers typically, but it becomes tough, going back and forth with them. In my experience, whereas single family construction, you're really only dealing with the building department. As long as everything's zoned correctly, you submit for your building permit and you're off to the races.
So it's kind of funny because it's like we're in a housing crisis.
Yeah.
Right. So
that's what they say.
Crisis.
Yeah.
But it would, so it would kind of behoove the towns to make these processes easier. And I think they have, in terms of, being able to split, do an administrative subdivision, being able to split lots and stuff like that. But it doesn't sound effective when it comes to larger scale projects.
Yeah, I think, look, it's hard either way, right? When you're dealing with a large scope project, there's going to be resistance everywhere. You've got neighbors, you've got abutters, you've got people who maybe have a voice in the community who are very vocal and don't want to see certain things happen. They feel like, by putting 20 units in a certain area, it's going to somehow disenfranchise the rest of the community. So there's a lot of different things that come into play. But to your point, there is this push for housing. The key is like what type of housing, are they going to be more agreeable to? And I think single family new construction is more
Straightforward,
agreeable.
easy, yeah.
Straightforward, easy. The multifamily stuff is great. I like that. But it just requires more work. It's more of a grind, It's more paperwork. It's more revisions with the architect, revisions with the engineer. How are you going to get drainage set up? You can't do this. You get told no a lot. So, if you're going to get into it, be ready to get told no consistently and have to push forward and push through that,
Tell us about your first, what was a learning lesson? Like, what was one of your
God.
failures, AKA learning lessons? Because I don't believe we fail. I believe we learn through failure and repetition.
Yeah, you're 100% right. And, I'm a big believer in just speed, repetition. I think that we can weed out a lot of problems if you just do it in volume and go through in speed. One thing I will say, or one failure is look, you're going to go over budget, especially if you're just starting out. You say you're going to pay this much for flooring or for doors and what have you, how much lumber you think you're going to need. And ultimately, a lot of that stuff gets decided by the engineers, what they approve. The city, they might have a building official who wants you to put 4 beams in that corner instead of, 2, you know what I mean? To give you an example. So some of the failures I've learned is just when you go over budget, seeing later on where you can nick those things and, try to save, but ultimately not cry about the fact that you're not going to make as much money as you thought you were going to make.
Right. So
especially in the beginning.
In terms of budget, like how much extra are you adding on to everything so that you have?
So we started.
What's our cushion number?
Yeah. If you can get a giant, king size cushion, king size mattress as a cushion, do it.
Well, it's true. It's like just more.
Yeah. 5% contingency probably isn't enough, but that's what we have built into our budgets. We just upped it, especially on the project we're going to be doing, this 15-unit development. We're going to up that to 10% as a contingency in the budget.
So when you're going through, you're budgeting all the materials, all the labor, and then you're adding on top of that another 10%.
Correct.
Just in case. Mm-hmm.
Yep. Yeah, you have to. You have to be ready for those unknowns.
Absolutely.
Framer decides to quit in the middle of the project. Plumber leaves with the materials. Obviously, if you have a great team, those things, you can avoid those things.
But there's stuff that can happen.
But life happens.
Yeah.
Life happens,
People leave with your lumber.
Yeah. Guy breaks in and rips all your breakers out, and I don't know what he's doing with it, putting it in his trailer maybe, but, things happen, so you got to try to prepare for that best you can. But ultimately, the things you can control, you control. The things you can't, you just got to stick and move and keep going, and not give up.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. I mean, that's everything in life. I'm reading David Goggins' Can't Hurt Me.
Nice.
He's a psychopath.
Love Goggins,
really, It's all about just like callousing the mind,
Yeah.
which I really like how he says that, because it is just about through the reps of failure, through the no's, is really where you just like create these like almost boundaries, like nothing can touch you.
That's it. Yeah. Look how freeing that is when you're going through a project and the building inspector comes over, and they might have, and nothing against inspectors, by the way. I mean, their job is to help us, especially as developers and builders, make sure that we're putting out a good product. But they come in and sometimes they'll have this bravado about them, and they want to ensure that, hey, I'm the one in charge here.
It's ego, yeah.
There's ego involved in a lot of different areas.
Yeah, absolutely.
But when you have that callous mind, or you have that mindset of like, look, I'm going to do this no matter what.
Yeah, we're working together.
We're working together. No, you're not going to hurt me. You're not affecting my confidence in being able to execute here.
Right.
It's very freeing, and ultimately they just kind of, people like that just kind of, get small. and you can move forward and just keep going with what you need to do.
What would you tell so you have the budget that we're going to talk about. I mean, that you said that's something every new builder really needs to have. What are some of like the exciting projects that you're working on now?
So we have a 5-unit condo development that we're pushing through planning in West Warwick that we're working on. And then I have a 15-unit condo development that we're actually closing on this Friday for the land, and we're going to start building that out. And I've met with the mayor and the former mayor on that, and really thrilled about that because there's a lot of upside in it. We have a nice solid budget. Our lender partners are fantastic, the people that we work with. And, I think that it's going to be a great asset to the community over there. So, those are the things that I'm very excited about. I have another single-family new construction happening. It's underway in Harrisville right now. And we've got one on the market right now for sale. If you guys are looking for a house in Newport, it's for sale.
Oh, yeah, I did see that one.
Beautiful, beautiful single-family house. It's an 18,000 square foot lot, 2-car garage. You can't find that anywhere in Newport. So that one's available for sale. And we have another one in Richmond that is getting close to being ready for sale as well.
Cool. So, like, in terms of you as a builder, what is kind of your like added value or your value? Like, for instance, one of the builders, I have this amazing new construction down in Hopkinton, and it's like he added windows to add more light into certain places, and he just like all the added things that you do or that you're proud of in terms of your company. What would you say they are?
Each project is different. We like to have some.
What's your style?
We have So I can't give away all the secrets.
Listen, I always say I'm like nobody ever repeats anything anyway.
True.
They don't because they don't even try.
I like having. Mixing the traditional with modern. If you look at the house we did in Newport, it's a 2-story colonial. It has a partially finished basement. We've got floating shelves with the LEDs underneath.
Cool.
And we've got that under all the cabinets. Then we have the mudroom that also has the floating shelf with the LED underneath. Which
I know,
is
everyone's
really cool.
been doing that. I'm like on Instagram, I see all these like the little lights.
Yeah. Little touches like that. I mean, our cabinetry is custom designed, so the days of the lazy Susan and the blind corner in the corner, like we're utilizing every ounce of space in the house. So now we have the nice swing out cabinetry. We have 2 trash can pull out here.
Oh, that's good.
In drawer microwave in the center of the island.
Love that.
for the houses. Just from that perspective and a design perspective, but.
That's a good idea with the microwave. I always forget that one.
Yeah. I actually got that in Puerto Rico. So we were staying in Puerto Rico in Aguadilla.
You're like, huh?
I was like, this is amazing. Every house we do now has to have this.
Well, it's true. I have one of another developer that I follow. He always does. He puts water filtration systems in his new builds, and I'm like, that's cool.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Just like setting the standard for yourself as a company.
Yeah,
so I
absolutely.
love that.
Absolutely.
Microwaves.
Yes.
In the island.
Yeah, anything like that, like the filtration system, irrigation systems. How can you, especially now, energy is very important. So making sure everything is, very energy compliant, but then going over the top and putting a vapor barrier on the insulation in the basement over the foundation, things like that. Really can set you apart. I think can help you get a house sold quicker.
Yeah.
And so I think that's something unique that we do. But I like to think that we pay a lot of attention to detail in all of our projects from a quality control standpoint. Detail is very, very important. So we don't sacrifice numbers for quality at all.
Which I think is so important.
Yeah. Or quality for numbers.
We got it.
Quality for numbers. I said that
quality.
backwards.
We want quality.
Yes. But we like numbers too,
Exactly. So, as a business owner, we just had one of our beautiful podcasters leave. She talked all about systems. Something I ask every single guest is, what kind of like technology are you using to propel your business forward, or even to operations and how to manage it?
Yeah, that's a great question. We have a CRM to be able to manage some of our construction clients. We are doing some outside projects outside of what we're doing now. One piece of technology I really love is Replit. Have you heard of Replit?
No.
Replit is fantastic. So Replit is a software that you can go online and you can build a website from scratch using AI.
Interesting.
So you kind of chat GPT in the chat, right? Build a website for my real estate brokerage located in Rhode Island, act as a master developer, XYZ, and it will create this website for you from scratch. It's hosted on the Replit server, so it's not something that you can scale massively, but you can build out a complete website.
What you want it to look like.
Without knowing anything about coding, without knowing anything about hosting.
Or design.
Or design.
It, yeah.
Or copywriting, right? Because I can say, hey, act as a master copywriter and fill my hero text, make it SEO optimized, all these different things you can implement. It'll do all your meta tags.
Yeah.
It'll do everything as far as search engine optimization. I want to rank in Google in the first 6 months, make my website like that. So Replit's really cool. I've shared it with a few people, a landscaping company, and I'm actually using it for my construction arm for outside projects that, we can kind of generate leads through there. So I would recommend if people have a service-based business and they're looking to make a website or they just want a profile page. I know a lot of realtors have that. They can jump on Replit, upload photos.
Yeah, but I think it'd be great because I feel like a lot of builders, a lot of them are like old school. You know what I mean? And it's like anybody could literally put this together because I feel like a lot of times too, buyers are going to come through. They're going to say, "Oh, like who's the builder?"
Yeah.
And I'm like, "Bob." Does Bob have a website? No, Bob doesn't have a website.
It's true. Yes.
I literally had to go get wet signatures from Bob on the roof of my car.
Yes. Yeah. A lot of back and forth with the guy we bought the land from in Newport because he didn't want to do any e-signatures. And it just delayed everything.
I know. You're like, it's just time that you're like crushing me on.
Yeah. And he was traveling and back and forth. But yeah, I think you have to adopt technology and get used to technology because it's, it's the way to move faster, right? And again, my philosophy and my whole methodology, if you will, is speed. And I'm very much committed to that, and it's what I do well. And so I think if you're going to move fast, you have to use technology to do so.
I agree. I mean, I don't really, time isn't even really real, right? But I do agree with the speed of doing things because it just we always say in real estate, it's like time kills all deals.
Time kills all deals. Yes. 100%.
It does. You gotta get quick to it. And then sometimes it doesn't though. Sometimes
it saves deals.
It is. You have to know this like push and pull when you're negotiating.
Yes.
Too. Of just like letting it lie for a minute, even though everyone's like really tense.
100%.
But just kind of giving people a little bit of space so then they can come back and it's like that recommitment.
From a builder perspective, from somebody who's been in a lot of real estate deals, I've done tons of transactions over the past 3 years, right? Probably you could compare me to some of the low volume real estate agents out there. I'm not a real estate agent, but I've done that many transactions or at least come to the closing table ready to do them.
Yeah.
From our perspective, when it comes to closing, that's something that you want to low and slow. Let the attorneys do what they need to do.
Yeah, I'm out of here.
There's
especially
just
building,
me.
just especially the building.
You have to do so much due diligence, and I emphasize this with every new builder or developer out there who's getting into it for the first time. Do your due diligence.
So that's a good. Okay, so keep going, then we're going to talk about due diligence.
Well, I'll just give you an example. So we had 2 lots that we were going to close on. One of them, and of course it's a wholesale deal. So the wholesaler's hitting us up. We closing? When are we closing? When are we closing? And he's talking to the other real estate agent. Everybody's, we closing. I'm like, guys, we're ready to close. We just got to let title come back, make sure everything looks good. Well, why is title taking so long? It's out of my hands. It's in the attorney's hands. Let them do what they do.
Yeah.
My attorney comes back. He says, hey, there's some weird stuff with the title. We're looking into it. Long story short, we were ready to go on this thing, by the way. And everybody was pushing us. And I was pushing my own attorney like, hey, come on, let's get this done. Time kills all deals. And sure enough, there was a part of the lot that years ago, everything had been joined in,
Yeah.
merged, and that part of the lot, the title insurance wouldn't cover it. So you lose part of the lot, which means when I go to sell this thing, that buyer's not going to be able to get title insurance. So we had to walk away from the deal. And I'm looking at the guy, I'm like, these guys didn't do a title when they bought the property? Because they bought the property and they were selling it to us. No, they didn't do a title search when they bought the property, which is just crazy to me in 2025. So I think getting up to the deal, yes, go fast. Once you're under contract, like let the lawyers do what they do.
Oh, yeah.
Because if you're going to get into developing and you're buying and you want to make sure you've covered everything you could possibly cover, and then there's still going to be surprises.
Absolutely.
And that's
like, yeah, you're not even like ready to build. You're not
No.
you're not talking about ledge yet. You're just talking about even like ownership and transfer.
Exactly.
So in terms of due diligence, like, again, a lot of listeners are new developers or wanting to get into it. Like, what does that mean? Because I feel like everyone talks about it. Like, same thing with like budget. They're like, if the numbers work, the numbers work. And we're like, well, what number? So like for due diligence, when we're looking at a piece of land, let's start off with land and then we'll go into like more of like a development standpoint. So what is due diligence when you're looking at it just a lot?
So I'm very involved when it comes to looking at a lot. If somebody brings me a piece of property, I'll go on the tax assessor website for that. Every city has a tax assessor website. I'll find the owner. I'll find out when they bought it, how much they bought it for. You can do a public record search for any easements. You look for easements, anything that might be on the title yourself. Mm-hmm. You're going to have your own title search later on, but by that time you're already under contract, right? So you want to try to weed out all of those things early in the game. So I'll do that. I'll make sure that it's zoned for it. You want to talk to, you can talk to the city, or at least just make sure, hey, this property is located in an area where it's zoned to be able to build.
Right.
You have, if you want to build a 3-family, but you can only build a single family, then you can't build it there. So zoning is one of those things that you look at. You look at utility connections. Where can I tie in? Is this going to be a lot of money to try to tie in somewhere 300 feet down the road, or can I tie in right here?
And how are you finding that out?
So you have access to just public records. So for example, in Providence, you can look up, Providence actually does a nice job with their records, probably because it's the capital, but you can look up the sewer utility layout and see exactly where the main is, if there's any branches off the main for your property, and water utility locations, and look it up that way. You can do that for most cities.
Yeah, because sometimes you're going to have to figure, like sometimes it's going to be like on the other side of the road.
Exactly.
You know, so you're going to have to put that either into the budget or at least know that you're going to have to do that. Not like, whoops.
Yeah. Good example is we had a property that the sewer tie-in was very far down the road.
Yep.
And so we knew this, so I said, let me see if I can work out an easement with the neighbor. And I kind of run it through. And he had wanted something from me. He wanted access to a shed that was technically on our property. So we were able to come to terms and set up an easement so that I can tie in right there versus having to run all the way down the road.
Smart. Solutions-based.
Solutions. That's it.
That's it.
You have to.
I don't want to have problems.
That's
we got
it.
solutions.
And you're going to get told no all the time.
Every day.
And people are gonna say you're crazy for doing what you're doing. But it's like, but if I can find the way, if there is a way, I'm going to find it.
Yeah, and I'm going to ask a lot of questions to make sure it's like a definitive no.
Yeah.
Like I tell my son, I'm like, listen, I'm like, you know why you're smart? I'm like, because you ask a lot of questions.
Yes.
And smart people ask questions.
100%.
They don't know.
Yes.
Right? They just ask questions.
And even if they think they know, they still ask the question.
Right.
Even if you already know the answer, sometimes it's good to ask the question.
Just validate it.
And then that opens the door to other creative ways to get things done. So going back to due diligence, when you're doing
Thanks.
this. No, I'm just saying when you're.
Thanks for keeping us on track.
It reminds me of even when, let's say the city's pushing back, or maybe financial lenders or financial partners are pushing back, right? The people you want to fund these jobs, because I'm not funding these things out of pocket.
No.
Nobody's going and spending their own money on these things. So you're going to get told no by lenders. You're going to get told no by maybe people you've done business with in the past. It's a little too risky for them. They get capped out. You have to be creative. You have to find solutions, and you have to say, hey, well, what if we did this? What if we, put some money over here? I could collateralize this. So that's another big part of what I do and what I think good developers do is raising capital for projects. It's the only way to grow and continue to do projects.
Right.
So you have to find capital. You have to find partners who can finance the construction. And they will. If they see you're organized, you know your numbers, they see you have experience, they will do it. You just got to find the right people.
Mm-hmm. All right, so the due diligence, we went back to just running title, easements, utility hookups. What else is that, like due diligence in that kind of pre-phase just for a single family, and then we'll go, and then the zoning, right? And then we'll kind of go into like the bigger projects because they're just more involved.
Yeah. So single family. It would behoove you to maybe talk to the building official there. Mm-hmm. Let them know what you want to do.
Yeah.
Hey, we're thinking of buying.
Introduce yourself.
Yeah. Establish a relationship with them. It goes a really long way. Mm-hmm. People are all about relationships. So if you can do that, every time he walks onto your job site now, he knows who you are. If he has a question, he knows how to get a hold of you. That would be another part of the due diligence period. They would probably have a lot of insight into that land. They will have a lot of insight into maybe somebody who's come before you and tried to do this. Mm-hmm. The city will come and say, hey, somebody else tried to do this. This is what we have.
Right.
And they give you, a paper, documents and public records that maybe you didn't see before. Mm-hmm. So I think talking to the town is a huge part of the due diligence process if you're looking to build somewhere, because they can have some valuable insight. And then from there, once you're ready to close, title will come back. And if everything looks good, you want to put your numbers together, your pro forma or your scope of work. Make sure you have all that squared away. Make sure you have your financing squared away for it. And after that, you can get the permits before you close. I've done that many times. Set up the permit. That way you close with the permit. Lenders like to see that. And then you're off to the races. You're building and
Is there any reason why a seller might not allow you to do that? Or like how do you talk to them if they don't want you to get a permit? Like how does that work?
The sellers generally don't know. That's a good question. I don't know.
Okay.
I've never encountered it.
But you would just do that like a couple weeks before the closing?
Yeah.
Typically pull a permit?
Yeah, I want to get it because that's going to give
you want to just out of the races. Yeah.
Yeah. And a lot of, especially institutional lenders, they will reduce the amount that they will loan to you until you have that permit.
Okay.
So maybe you're at 75% loan to value with the permit at closing. Mm-hmm. If you don't have a permit, they might hold back 10%. And that's 2 or 3 different lenders I could think of that have done that until you have the permit. So that's something that I like to get a head start on that. Because again, that starts the process of what's going to take long here. The sewer department's going to be 3 weeks because they can't get their act together.
Right. Right.
So, I've never had a situation where a seller has pushed back on it.
But I think it's just a good best practice. Get it all lined up in order. So
get it lined up. Yep. They're really not going to care. All they care about is that check hitting their bank account once you close.
That's true.
And they're hitting up the attorney like morning of, like, hey, did it hit my account yet? Mm-hmm. That's what they care about.
That's all. The other question I had too is like in terms of due diligence, when you look at a piece of property, a lot of developers that I've had on the show, they talk about ledge or wetlands. Like, are you just going and looking at the property and saying this has ledge? How are you doing that?
It's tough to find out if something has ledge beforehand. It really is. I now, where we are in today's day and age, I assume it all has ledge. And I build it into my excavation budget.
Okay.
Hammering and blasting. Just build it in. Because you got
$50,000 easily.
Yeah, well, depending on how much you have, it could be significant. We had some hammering we had to do. It was about $12,000 that we had to pay for up in Harrisville. It was in the driveway. It was the worst thing because I'm like, this adds no value to the house.
It's the driveway.
I'm like, it's the freaking driveway. And I'm talking to the guy. I'm like, Matt, listen, this is my excavator. I'm like, what can we do on this number? Because this does nothing for me. This is the driveway. And we're probably going to have ledge over where the house is too. But just to make the driveway, we have to do this? Yeah, we got to do it. So anyway, he always works with us. He's a great guy. So I assume everything has ledge because you got to think about it. All the really nice buildable lots in Rhode Island,
They're done.
they're gone,
Yeah.
you know, unless you're knocking stuff down and putting new stuff up. So build that into your budget as well. Assume that you have it there.
So what, I mean, could you just not you could just build a slab, right? I mean, how?
You still got to dig 4 feet down, you know, so depending where the ledge is, you know, if you still got to build frost walls, so you still got to go down some.
Right.
Depending how deep the ledge is, you might still have to blast it.
Right.
You know, or hammer
And
it.
that takes time.
Yeah. It takes time and money.
Money, yeah.
And you know, you got to wait for a blasting permit in some cities, most cities, actually I think all cities. If your guy doesn't have the equipment for the hammering, he's got to go rent the equipment or get the equipment.
Mm-hmm.
You know, he's hitting you per day on that typically.
Right.
So it can definitely eat away at your budget.
Yeah.
But if you account for it, you know, it's not going to kill
that,
you.
though. There's going to be ledge. Just
I
put
assume there's
put
always
in
going to be a
a
ledge.
$15,000, $20,000 line
Always.
item.
Now, as far as wetlands go, that's something you want to know early on.
Yeah,
You
absolutely.
know, contact a wetlands expert. I know there's a good guy named Brandon around here.
Oh, can you get me his? I'll have him on the show.
I can, yeah. He's super forthcoming about any information regarding the wetlands, different properties, and he'll do the wetlands delineation and set it up. That you really want to know right away because DEM could take 12 months.
I had the director on here actually.
Did you really?
I did.
Oh wow.
I told him I'm like you got to come meet all my builders because I feel like it's really important to create spaces where people can have just like regular conversations and like talk about like, hey, this is like my experience working with you guys. Like, how can we create a solution? Because I feel like a lot of times like it's really just a matter of people aren't talking to each other and they don't really know the experience of the other person, and in reality we all just kind of want to do the right thing.
Do the right thing, yeah.
Right. So as long as we could kind of circumvent some of the barriers to entry or improve communication, I feel like it's not really that, it's not rocket science. So I'm going to have him, he wants to come on with a bunch of other builders.
That's cool.
Yeah.
That's cool.
I'm excited.
It's not every day you have the opportunity to talk with them about specific issues.
Yeah.
You know, and
we're going to do it.
And I think that's great. That's fantastic. You know, everybody understands everybody has a job to do.
Right.
Within each municipality, within government, federal
Checks,
government,
balances,
states.
we got it.
It's tough because there are a lot of people, you know, there's always a bad.
So is it Karen?
Yeah. That spoil the bunch, but
Oh yeah. Oh, just yeah.
on both sides.
Yeah. Yeah.
You know, but I think that I think generally, you know, if you're trying to do the right thing, you're not cutting corners, it's okay.
Yeah.
You know.
Yeah.
But if you're not prepared, if you don't understand, hey, these are wetlands. We had a piece of property we were looking at, and there was wetlands that ran right through it. Right through the front of it where the driveway was going to go.
Not happening.
So it could happen. It's just going to take 12 to 16 months.
Right.
Based on what the gentleman who does the wetlands delineation said, DEM and their timeline.
You need a bridge.
Yeah, you need a
You need to
bridge.
build a
You
bridge.
need an engineered design. It's like,
Yeah.
so
So it's like maybe next deal.
on to the next one.
On to the next deal.
And
Yeah.
know when
I
to
think
cut
it's
it off.
important to, yeah, I think it's, and that's kind of why I like, why I wanted to ask you about like due diligence, because it's like, in general, right, at this point in my life, I'm getting to the point where I'm like, if it's not here, then we're not doing it.
100%. Yes.
With any part of my life.
Yeah.
Like, you don't meet these standards, we're out.
That's it. Yeah.
Yeah,
You
so-
have to be. You have to be because there's opportunity costs. You're wasting time on
You're
something.
like holding on to it, and it doesn't even make sense.
Yeah. Typically, if you're doing that, it's a very emotional thing versus
Just business.
business and looking at it as, you know, is this a real opportunity? Is this me just trying to
Push it.
stay busy, you know,
Yeah.
push it?
Yeah.
So, yeah, I've walked away from a lot of deals. You got to
have
walk away
to.
from deals.
Yeah.
You have to.
So due diligence on some of like the bigger projects. What are those? What does that look like for you?
So,
I mean, because there's so much more involved
It
in
is.
a bigger project. You got to have like the fire department
Yeah.
come out, make sure they can turn around.
it is. Every city's different too. It's so funny.
Well,
you
West
know,
Warwick, you do.
yeah,
That
West
little wraparound.
West Warwick, you have to have turnaround, and fire is very big over there because there's a history of fire incidents over there. Of course, we had the Station nightclub fire over there. So, each municipality has kind of an identity. You start to learn. It's like, okay, they care a lot about fire and safety. This town cares a lot about, the sewer, making sure that we're not taxing the sewer system and putting too much on the pump stations, things like that. So the due diligence period is similar to the others. Much longer. And you're really outlaying a lot from the beginning versus just a single family new construction.
So what are you asking the sellers typically? Let's say, for instance, I guess we could go through two different versions, or maybe the one that you prefer to go through, but maybe one where the project's already approved. Like, what is your due diligence for that? Like, what are the questions you're asking the seller? Like when we met, you would ask me.
Yeah, that's a good point. So yeah, things that I always try to find out is obviously, is it approved? Is it zoned for what, you're saying we can build here? Do you have any engineering on it? Is the engineering complete? What do you have for drainage? Everything you build has to be net zero, technically, as far as drainage goes, unless you get some type of relief on that. But you can't have any storm runoff anywhere. So drainage is a big thing because if you don't have the space for drainage, then it can really, bring your project to a halt. Yeah, dismantle a deal. So engineering work is very important, and you want to just get as much as you can, as much information as you can. And then, you want to look at the numbers, see how much they say you're going to be able to sell these for.
Yep.
You're a realtor, so you're looking at comps, you're looking at data.
I tell everyone the minimum because I work with you guys, so it's like if I'm like, oh, sorry, we're $50,000 off or $100,000 off per unit. It's just you're messing everyone up. And
they'll hold you hostage to that number. They'll say, hey, you said we could get this amount.
Yeah, that's why sometimes I'm like, listen, like when I talk to developers, I'm like, listen, this is like the baseline, like the lowest, even if it's like the worst time, this is what you're going to get. And then it's just like more money after that.
Yeah, which is great. That's what you want to do. Be conservative all around the board.
Yeah.
Don't be conservative with your budget. Oh, I'm sorry. Be conservative with your budget, and
don't be conservative with your budget.
Have a big allowance for everything.
Yeah.
Build it in there.
Bigger budget.
Don't assume you're going to sell it for top dollar.
Yeah, it's just
don't.
that.
You have
like here, bring it down. Here, bring it up.
Yes.
And then these are like, this is the real range.
Yeah, and I started off, very optimistic about what we were going to sell things for, because I'm like, we're going to build something great.
Listen, but now is a different.
It's different,
dude. I'm selling this new construction. They had another real estate agent. It was overpriced. And, you have to come in and like redo all the marketing and then have some tactic where you're like, all right, let's bring it down to this price. So at least we'll get a couple offers and then we can leverage the offers against each other to get it up a little bit further than where we brought it down to.
Yeah.
So there is like strategy in pricing, but honestly, like I think things are sitting for longer now, just out in the field. Like a lot of stuff is sitting. You're not getting top dollar like you used to. Even in new construction, if it's not priced right at the number, then you're not getting it.
Yeah.
And I think like I always think it's important to like, maybe add an extra 10, 15 on top, when you start off.
Yeah.
But know that you might have to just drop it that $15K to be able to get up in between those numbers, if that makes sense to you.
It does. I see it as well. I'm very much in tune with the market, and
the market's slowing. So it's like anyone who's like thinking of selling now, make sure you add in like 10%, like that. You're probably gonna get 10% lower easily, and then it's also like depending on when you're gonna come to market, you're gonna have more buyers and you're gonna make more money in the spring. That's just research, right?
100%. Yeah.
And so you really have to think about like when your timeline is for bringing a property to market and then being conservative on your sales price, because right now it's a lot of stuff is slowing. I think people can't afford anything.
Yeah.
To be honest. And, it's like now, like, insurance is going to double. It's like people are like, where are you going to get your money from? You know? And even for instance, like one of my clients were purchasing, they're downsizing, they're selling $1 million home, purchasing another property. And they got a great offer, but they want the contingency in there that says, like, it's not subject to the purchase of their other property. And I'm like, listen, I don't, like, have a magic wand, right? But contracts are really supposed to protect the, like, worst case scenario. Yeah. I'm like, what if the house goes on fire? No one's living there.
It's true.
Sets on fire.
Yeah.
And now what? You sold your house. How do you get out of that contract? Or the husband loses the job. Whatever. It's not a big deal. But I just want it's like I want to make sure that, like, that if you're going to sign this contract without that contingency, that anything could happen.
Yes. It's very true. I have a friend of mine who he had a property that they were under contract, they were selling, and they had a massive flood, and it delayed everything. A pipe burst in the attic or something like that.
Like, you just don't know.
And now you're talking about insurance claims. You're talking about, everything changes. So you have to plan for worst case scenario in that instance. So
I know.
That's smart that you're doing that.
Well, I'm like, I don't want to be like my client says, he's like, are you a deal maker, a deal killer?
I know.
A deal breaker.
Real estate agents get the worst of it. I swear.
No, he wasn't talking about me. He was talking about this other agent who was a deal killer, a deal breaker.
Yeah.
But I'm all about, like, trying to make a deal happen. But there's also a certain point, like, not a certain point, like, you're supposed to protect your clients and be like, hey, listen. Right. Like, this is why we have attorneys. This is why we have contracts. Worst case scenario, you lose your job, the house catches on fire, then what?
Yeah.
Or we wait, or these people, or they walk. So it's like, it's your decision in the end, what risk you're willing to take. But, again, not my decision, not my house, not my life. As long as you know everything and you're comfortable moving forward in whatever capacity, then I'm good with that.
Yeah, it's a very personal thing when it comes to trying to negotiate the sale of your house and, what you're going to let it go for. And I would say it's equally as personal or maybe a little bit more when you're building a house and you're going to sell it and put it on the market, and it's very hard to separate it. When you've put in months of time, energy, and the backstory, all the things that have happened during this construction, and you fired a plumber, and you're no longer friends with this person, and all these different things that took place. And it's like, when I sell this thing, man, I've got to make sure it was worth it. So yeah, I think from my perspective, I always try to have the end in mind. Like, what's the market doing, and just
so you got to build a really good team around you, especially like I was. I had some other friends on here, some female flippers, which if you're interested, you should come. We're going to do a flipping tour.
Okay.
We're going to go look at 3 different properties that people have done, but it's really like networking, just like,
very cool.
Even just like sharing what's going on or this or that, whatever.
Yeah.
It's going to be the week of Halloween, so you're going to, any men that come out and bringing wigs, you will have to dress up as a female. We'll all be in costume.
Okay.
I also have James, my broker. I'm like, can we get our videographer to come on this? And he's like, absolutely. So it's going to be all filmed.
That'll be
It's going to be great.
Oh, man, that's awesome.
Because I'm like all about, like, let's have a little fun while we're doing, like, everything.
Yeah, of course. It's fun. I mean, if you're in real estate and you've been doing it a while, it's because you love it and it's fun. Like, I wake up and I'm like, I'm ready to go. I love it.
Yeah.
Like, I cannot wait to hit the ground and work on the next deal, project, contractors, budgets, whatever it is. Mm-hmm. Once I found that, I was like,
it's like crack.
Yeah, it gives you energy. It does. Somebody said, like, stay away from the things that take your energy and just focus on the things that give you energy.
Yep.
And that's what real estate does for me, and building and going through these challenges and the tension with it,
Yeah, it's the, like, creating the callus. I mean, there's a couple questions that I always ask everybody on the show. Is there any, we talked about technology. We talked about that.
Some other technology. Else? I mean, I'm using ChatGPT.
But I like how you're asking the questions. That's why I was like, when people talk about ChatGPT, like how you're asking them questions. Like, I want you to create this in like SEO form. I want, my website to rank on Google. Like, those are great.
Yeah.
Yeah,
exactly. I mean, you have to teach the AI how to act. And, very early on, the developers of OpenAI, that's what they said. They said, if you want to prompt it to do something, you just have to teach it.
You put hours
into
it.
Tell them what you want it to be.
People download, a lot of my friends, they'll put in like whole books into that.
Bank statements. I've uploaded bank statements. Analyze my bank statements, act as a master CPA, and show me areas where I can save. Or categorize my transactions so I can look at things. Now you have QuickBooks, you have different booking systems, you have your own accountant.
Yeah.
But you can put your stuff in there and say, hey, you're spending $90 a week on Chipotle. It's like, yeah, that's not going to change. Or you're spending
and you're getting diarrhea once a week.
Yeah. I mean, sacrifices. You got to make them. You know what I mean? You got to make them.
So any other technology that you would recommend?
Other than that, man, I'm very Google Sheets and
what
Gmail.
Actually a lot of people were saying that they're using for ChatGPT is even creating like images for clients. Which I thought was...
How do you mean? Like
you
renderings?
could say like put in the cabinets like this color or that color or the flooring.
So we use that a lot.
Yep.
So perfect example, I have a flip in East Providence I'm doing, and I'm trying to decide what to paint the porch, and we took a picture, we uploaded it, and we said, hey, we're going to go gray. All right, give me brown. Give me this color, and we look at it, we're like, that looks great. What color to do the vinyl siding?
Yeah.
You can do it for that as well.
Yeah.
It's great. So yes, that very much so. Another one I really like, it's kind of new, it's called Company Cam.
Okay.
I started using it when I go onto job sites and I'm walking through and I see some things that need to be fixed, or I'm laying things out for a contractor who isn't on site.
Okay.
It allows you to take photos and transcribe. You can speak into the microphone on your phone, and it'll take notes, put them into an outline.
Yeah. Clean up your shit.
Yeah. Yeah. I have a sign that says there's a dumpster here for a reason. Make sure we use it. Because guys love leaving trash everywhere. It's universal though.
That's what I'm saying. It's hilarious.
So that's a really good one because you could take photos and be there, and it'll put it into an outline and then send it off to your contractor, and it'll take the images that you have as well and say, this is what we need framed. This is what we need. We need an outlet over here. We need the gas pipe over here, whatever it may be.
Right.
So that's a really another good one. It's called Company Cam. It's an app.
Company Cam. Cool. Yeah. We'll totally tag it on the show.
Cool.
Any book you would recommend or that you're reading or podcast that you like?
My favorite book is Never Split the Difference, Chris Voss.
It's my guy.
It's one of my favorite books ever. Love that book. And
it's so good.
It's amazing.
Because it just makes you realize that you really have to just, again, it's all about communication. So, it's like you just have to get the other person on your side or just understand them and hear them and listen to them.
And listen.
It's really that simple.
That's the biggest thing. And, I sent it to a buddy of mine. He was like, oh, this is how you get everything you want from me, huh? And I'm like, well, no. I just think it's good communication. This really outlines what good communication is. Mm-hmm. We can't assume that we're great communicators because typically when we talk to people, all we're looking for is transactional, just like he says in the book. It's all transactional. Mm-hmm. You never listen. Mm-hmm. You kind of try to get whatever you want to get out of that person. And in real estate deals, and especially dealing with contractors, it's the same thing. What can I extract? What can I get out of this situation? So I think if you actually read the book and have the mindset that, hey, this is just actually the right way to communicate with people so that you guys are always on good terms. Doesn't matter if it's
your kid.
Yeah. My kids, yeah, exactly. Same thing. Your kids, your spouse, and
it's not like a deceiving. It's really just about listening to the other person.
Anytime I go to my wife and I say, hey, would it be crazy if she goes, you're doing the thing. She's like, don't do it. Because the whole one of the concepts in the book is, of course, asking for a no instead of a yes, because we've been so stigmatized with trying to get a yes out of people. Can you come help me do this? Can you do this? And instead they say, pose it as a no question. Would it be crazy if you helped me do this? And when you do that, people's guards are down and they're more likely to at least communicate with you a little better. And so, I use it every day. And that's a book that I think you read it and then you put it to practice and you can use everything in it every single day.
Yeah, like get the scripts from it. So he also made another book with this real estate agent, and they use all of his tactics.
Really?
And it's called The Full Fee Agent. And the other thing, too, I love about that book, and again, they use it's basically the guy takes like all real estate and all the conversations you're going to have and uses the FBI negotiators' tactics. And so one of the things that I always appreciate is really about like the elephant, like taking the elephant out of the room.
Yeah.
Just like take it out.
Yep.
Because it's such an easier conversation because it's already on their mind, whoever
Yes.
you're in. So anyway, I love that aspect always.
Yeah.
I tell like a lot of young real estate agents, I'm like, just tell people like, yeah, I look young, you know, but this is my experience.
100%.
So just take it out. But it's so funny. There's this one verse or this one like script essentially when you're going to give people bad news that you have to give them like you have to have them think of like the worst case scenario. So you're like, listen, Coco, I got some bad news. You're going to think I don't know what I'm doing. And then you just keep going through this. Like, You're going to think I don't know what I'm doing. You're going to think like that you hired the wrong person. And so then people are like, What is it? Right.
I'm going to die.
Yeah. What is it? And I'm like, listen, we have to drop the price like $50,000. It's just there's no way we're going to be able to sell it at this price. And then you shut up.
Yep. And they're like, oh, okay, that's it?
Yeah. So because I think a lot of times, and this is like everywhere, people don't want the blow to be as bad as it is, or they just try to like skirt around the problem. Like I had this with this lender, a lot of lenders lately, be wary of any deal you have. Like you got to make sure that everything is in writing from these lenders, because I don't know what's going on in these real estate parts lately, but
I agree.
Lender. So, we just got approved. Okay, well you didn't. And it's like now I'm hearing about like an appraisal correction and a credit correction. I'm like, that sounds like credit repair. You know what I'm saying? Just tell me the bad thing.
Yeah.
Just tell me the bad thing. And then we can work from there, because then I trust you, right? Yeah. Because at this point I'm like, I don't believe a word. I don't want to talk to you anymore because I don't trust you. So you're going to have me. I'm talking to the branch manager, and if the branch manager is going to be a dick, I'm talking to the president, which is what I did.
Wow. Yeah. Good for you.
Well, because I'm like,
it's very frustrating. Yeah. I've had multiple scenarios where the broker or the mortgage broker or the lender, they let you know, hey, we're very close.
So close.
We're so close. We just need this. We're right there. And ultimately I'll never call those people again, and it really looks bad on them.
Yeah, you mess everybody up.
So you're 100% right. Like get out in front of that stuff.
Yeah.
If it's
elephant in the room.
Attack the elephant in the room. Put it out there, and absolutely, you decompress people when you let them know. It's just like setting a high anchor, right? When you go in to sell something, you say, hey, or somebody's going to buy something. You say it's probably going to cost you like $30,000, even though maybe it's going to be 15 or so. But set that high anchor so that people don't, become upset with you. Yeah, it's so much better.
It's just so much easier.
Yeah.
What is your mantra?
Can I give you one more book?
Yeah.
There's another really good book from marketing.
Okay.
I feel like everybody who's in marketing, if you're in real estate or you're selling something, if you're selling anything, you're a marketer, right? It's called Contagious by Jonah Berger.
Ooh.
It is one of the best marketing books I've ever read. And it really talks about how things get viral or how they go viral. which is what everybody wants, right?
Yeah.
You want to become known for what you do.
Mm-hmm.
So it's a great book, and I haven't finished reading it yet. I'm at the end of it, but I really look forward to like reading it again, picking it apart, and then trying to put a lot of it into practice and building my own brand. You know, we're trying to build up the brand on social media, Instagram, and trying to get people to see what we're doing out here, because we really do feel like we put out some quality products, and we care a lot about building beautiful houses and buildings. So yeah. So what's my mantra?
Yeah.
My mantra, something that just comes out of my mouth, typically with my kids or anybody, is stay ready and you don't have to get ready.
Ooh.
Stay ready and you don't have to get ready.
Okay.
And I think that, I mean, I've been saying that for years. I think it came from like a Jay-Z song from back in the day. I can't remember where I got it from, but yeah, thanks, Hope. Yeah, but that it really was just, my son said it to me the other day. He was like, "Oh, I wasn't ready." I was like, "Well, stay ready. You don't have to get ready."
It's true.
And so if you're always somewhat prepared, obviously you can't be prepared for everything, but if you're always somewhat prepared, then you won't be caught off guard, and you can have less stress in your life.
I love that.
Have less tension and enjoy your life more.
Exactly.
So
how can people get in touch with you?
So they can follow me, Coco Builds Homes, at Coco Builds Homes on Instagram. And yeah, they can reach out to me there. I've got email contact on there. Shoot me a DM, say what's up. I'm working with a lot of young investors who want to get into real estate investing, and they've been DMing me and text messaging me, and I've been trying to help them, go through the process, look at deals. I'm more than happy to do that with anybody who maybe is looking at a deal, is interested in a project. So shoot me a message, and I'll be happy to.
I love that.
To communicate
Thank
effectively.
You. Thank you.
You got it.
Well, thank you so much for being on the show.
Thank you.
I do appreciate it.
Happy to be here.
Yeah, so that is it for today's episode of the Landlady Listens, where we turn vision into reality. Remember that success starts in your mind before it ever shows up in your life. Keep believing, keep building, and most importantly, keep taking action. And until next time, trust the process, bet on yourself, and go create the life that you deserve. And don't forget to like, subscribe, and share this episode with someone who needs to hear it. We're out of here. Love you, the Landlady. Come check out the next episode. Thank you. Bye. That's it for today's episode of The Landlady, where we turn your vision into a reality. Remember, success starts in your mind before it ever shows up in your life. Keep believing, keep building, and more importantly, keep taking action. And until next time, trust the process, bet on yourself, and go create the life that you deserve. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and share this episode with someone who needs to hear it. Love you.